Hey guys, we are getting ready to leave our campsite where we've been for the last week in the middle of the Arizona desert, and it's been really peaceful out here. We were here to paint the outside of our bus. Also, we came up with a name for the bus after a year of not being able to decide. We decided to name our bus, can I say it?
Yeah, go for it.
So if you missed our last video, make sure you go check it out after this one, because we're really excited about the new name. So our big goal now is to make it to Canada with our bus. We're gonna pick interesting stops along the way. We're gonna take our time getting there because there's so much to see between Arizona and Alberta, Canada. And we will get to the start of that right now. Jimmy and I took a leap of faith when we decided to live in a bus. We knew that not everyone would understand why we felt pulled towards it, or why we would rather buy a bus than put a down payment on a house. So when we heard about Arcosanti, the experimental micro-city in the desert, we knew we wanted to see it for ourselves. Arcosanti and its residents are pioneering another alternative to traditional housing. The residents work and live within the small community. There are tour guides, bell forgers, chefs, accountants. Everyone who lives at Arcosanti has a hand in running it. During our visit, we had the opportunity to speak directly with a permanent resident who has lived and worked on the grounds for almost 20 years.
Even the one you're in, the bottom 2 levels of this building are apartments.
Oh, that's really cool.
So we work in these things in the daytime, and then we live in them in the evenings. Here it takes me like 3 minutes to get to where I work. That's my commute. It's the same way with all of us. We just walk to work.
That's
we
awesome.
use cars for shopping when we want to go see a movie or a concert or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So how long have you been here?
2004. There's families here. There's multi-generations here.
That's cool. So what does it take to get an apartment or a house here?
You have to work. Everybody lives here, works here.
Very cool.
No retired people here.
So we decided to explore the visitors trail because I think it gives us a really good view of the entire community from afar. There are a lot of other trails here, but this is the only one that's open to the public. Of course, if you're an overnight guest, even through like their Airbnb or their greenhouse rooms, you can access the trails while you're staying here. But I think that those rules are in place to protect the residents. The community also has an obvious love and respect for the outdoors. The buildings are closely integrated with the nature they're built around, and of course, there are several hiking trails. So naturally, Jimmy and I wanted to explore these, and we may have just stumbled across the best view of the whole micro-city.
Arcosanti focuses on what they call arcology, which is the mixture of architecture and ecology. They want to try to bring a new perspective to urban lifestyle as we know it, and so they try to fuse ecosystem principles with their architecture, and you can see that a lot in what we've seen so far. It's unlike any city that we've ever seen, and I think there's even a few spots that we can't even go into right now because, you know, people live here full time. This is their home, and so we got to be respectful of that. They do like a huge range of things here. They have full-time people that handle the cafe that feeds all 80 people. Of course, there's like the visitor center employees that we ran into. And I see from this direction, I think there's even a pool. And they also have, I think, at least 2 foundations here. One is a nonprofit, and then another one is a for-profit organization that sells their iconic bells. And I think that's how they make most of their money. They also rent Airbnbs, which unfortunately are closed until like this summer, so we weren't able to grab one of those rooms.
There's a lot more to Arcosanti that we're not able to visit for free. It is open to the public, but only certain parts of it. So the cafe, which is currently closed, I think because it's in their off season. There's also there's an amphitheater here, a couple different event spaces where they have seminars and yoga classes and stuff like that. But we can't see any of that unless we pay to see it in some form, which is fair, but a bit of a bummer.
Well, that was real short and sweet. They unfortunately block off a good portion of it, unless you're paying for something like the overnight suites that they have or the tours. So we didn't see all of what it has to offer, but we saw a good bit, and we got a really good view from that canyon walk that we found also. But I think it's a really good way to start off the week, and I think we're gonna move on to our home for tonight, which is gonna be a Love's truck stop not too far from here.
I just realized that I can actually see Arcosanti from where we're parked at Love's. It's kind of in the distance, but it's like a little cluster of green trees, and then you can see the building that we were just in.
We are at Love's, and luckily there's an attached Arby's, which is a godsend for us because Natalie and I have blown through all of our food. Our pantry is empty, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that empty. It's peanut butter for dinner.
Yeah, we have peanut butter and 2 cans of beans. So I think we're gonna break our little unwritten rule and go get some fast food. I think the last time we did this might have been in North Carolina when our bus broke down. The bus is in the shop with all the wheels pulled off up on jacks, and they can't put it back together until they get the new parts.
The only thing either of us have had to eat today is granola bars. And it's like 7 p.m. Yeah.
We got Wendy's like 2 or 3 times that week because we weren't able to go into our bus and get our food. So I think we deserve it. We do like it, and we don't really have an option, so.
So there's quite a big backlog of people here waiting on their orders, and turns out this is not the only James. So we got excited and thought our food was ready, but we still got a little bit of a wait. Happy late Valentine's Day. It's a new day. We woke up this morning at the Love's truck stop, and we started driving pretty much immediately straight north, and we found this place called Montezuma Castle. So this is yet another really interesting building that's a little unconventional. So we're excited to see it, and maybe even finally buy our annual National Parks Pass, which, if you're not aware, it's an $80 pass that you can buy that will get you into any national park in the country for a whole year. We tried to buy it when we got to White Sands, but they were sold out, so they let us in for free and just told us to buy it the next time that we had the opportunity, which we're hoping is going to be today.
You can almost see what we came here to see from the parking lot. You can barely make it out, but through those like white trees right there, I think I can see the castle.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Do you have a National Park Pass?
No, but we were hoping we could buy one here.
$80 then today.
Alrighty.
There we go. You guys are all set. It's going to be back out and around to the right.
So we finally did it. We got our pass after 6 months on the road.
Doesn't that look so nice? We did it. Both Montezuma and Castle are misnomers.
So this is where Castle A used to be, but they think that the pueblo that was here burned down. This used to actually be bigger than the Montezuma Castle that's still kind of standing.
I mean, there's not much to say once you get here. The Montezuma Castle is kind of like the primary thing that people come here to look at, but it's not the only structure. And the one straight to the left of it, which is kind of hard to find, is called Castle A. And what I think is really funny is One, Montezuma Castle is incorrect. Number one, it's not a castle. Number two, it was named after the Aztec Emperor Montezuma because they thought that this was built for him, but later they realized he never made it this far north from Mexico. So that means it's not a castle and it wasn't actually named after him. But I read that the name just kind of stuck and they just kind of kept it. And I think it's funny because the structure to the left of it is called Castle A. That's it. No special meaning at all. And so now I can see why they kept the Montezuma Castle name, because they weren't very creative with the names in the first place, so they just kind of liked it.
It's better than naming it Castle B.
Also, we keep seeing signs that say don't feed the squirrels, but we have not seen a single squirrel here. So I'm very disappointed.
It's probably because nobody's here to feed them.
Imagine yourself visiting here over 7 centuries ago.
So apparently, Montezuma is really incorrect for the name of this, because Emperor Montezuma II was not even born when this castle was made. Montezuma Castle National Monument is definitely like the best maintained national park that we've been to so far. The rangers are super friendly. It's like a really nice paved walking trail. Although I think we've seen everything that we came here to see, so Jimmy and I are gonna hit the road and keep moving on towards Banff, slowly but surely.
Well, I thought we were gonna end the vlog at Montezuma, but as we were leaving it, I think we discovered that our alternator is dead. It was having a problem charging for the last couple of days, and we've had intermittent issues before, and we've just been able to let it ride, and it usually starts charging after about 10 minutes or so. But we've been driving for about 2 days, and it hasn't charged at all. So we're at a Walmart now because we need to do a grocery run, but I think we're going to hook up our trickle charger that we bought like a couple months ago because we've been getting plenty of solar power, so our house batteries are topped off. And then after our grocery run, I think we'll do some research and see if we can pick up a new alternator.
Thank you.
Cool. I'm gonna go just make sure the voltages look good while it charges.
Okay. Hopefully that'll charge up enough for us to keep going. It's a good band-aid solution, but I think we're gonna need to actually fix the alternator problem. The sooner the better. So it's been about 2 hours since we last picked up the camera. Since then, we've gone into Walmart, restocked on all of our food, which is such a nice feeling, and we drove to an O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
It looks pretty easy to like switch out because it's just this bolt and this bolt here. These guys at O'Reilly's are super helpful. So we're pretty sure that the alternator is dead, and I was able to find a pretty cheap remanufactured one that fits the specs of the bus for pretty cheap, like 200 bucks, which is great because I was really expecting like more like $500, which I think is probably what you could pay if you're paying new. So we have it ordered, and so we're gonna come back tomorrow and pick it up, and they were nice enough to say that we could do the install like basically in their back parking lot, which is great because I really don't want to have to like take the bus somewhere else, do the swap there, have something go wrong, and then not be able to drive it back. So it just sounds really nice to just do the swap at the shop that you buy the alternator at. So that's our new plan. Kind of crazy. We thought we were just going to go sightseeing this week, but you know, it happens, and I feel like I've got my fingers crossed that this is just another quick swap and it shouldn't take too long.
Don't jinx it.
Did I jinx it?
You might have. We'll find out.
We'll find out tomorrow. Well, I feel like our bus is out to get us. We were driving away from O'Reilly's, and then from the voltage meter on the dash, the alternator seemed to kick on and it started to charge again. So I don't know. It's reading about 13 volts, which as I understand, it's kind of low. You probably want to read at least 14 volts when you're charging, but that's kind of what it said in the past. And so I just feel like this is just another sign where if it's not totally dead, it's definitely on its way out. So I think we're making the right decision.
So it's the next day and we're back at O'Reilly's because our alternator has arrived. Our plan for today was to go on a hike, but sometimes the bus just has other plans for us. But I think it's best for us to get out ahead of this problem because we can still drive it right now, but it's pretty clear that our alternator is on the way out and we need to fix it at some point. So no time like the present.
Just hope I'm doing this right. I've never had to take off a belt before. thing was in there really bad. Oh, it was really, really tight, but it's nothing a hammer can't solve. So we got all the bolts out. So now the plan is I'm gonna take this into O'Reilly's because I don't want to pay 200 bucks for a new alternator if I don't need one. So that's kind of our plan right now. Quick unrelated update, it has started to snow in Arizona. This is the first snow I've seen in like 2 years.
It was really coming down a second ago, but it's not gonna stick. It's like 40 degrees. You kind of just have to take our word for it that it's snowing, because it just kind of looks like rain.
I mean, it's picking up right now. Oh wow, it's really coming down.
Wow, dude. Give me some. It melts instantly. Snow day. So after 4 days of trying to track down all the right parts, a new alternator, a new pulley, we're installing the new alternator and just hoping that it's going to work because we've been parked behind an O'Reilly's Auto Parts for the last 4 nights. So we would love to get out of their hair.
I hope this works. All right, you guys want to see something really cool? You gotta come with me. Oh, sorry, Nat. I wasn't talking to you.
I want to come too.
That behind me is our brand new and installed alternator. It only took like 4 days for all the parts to come in. Basically, the first alternator we bought through O'Reilly's wasn't the right part. The website said it fit the bus for my specs that we had, but it didn't. The mounting size was a little bit too small. We had like the long mount, and apparently there's a short mount as well. So that was the first problem. So we had to wait 2 more days for the new alternator to come in. And when that one came in, the shaft that you're supposed to put the pulley on didn't fit with the old pulley. And that's because after doing a little bit of investigation, whoever installed the last alternator ground off a notch that you're supposed to slip the pulley over. They completely ground it off, and that's why they were able to like fit this pulley that wasn't even supposed to be on the alternator in the first place. And we didn't realize that until like 3 days in. So finally got that solved. We got a new pulley and we finally got it installed, and we were gone by the 4th day. And it does run, it runs great. So I think that's gonna wrap up what we have for this week. We did not plan to end it here, and it is super bright, but
I'm just glad to be out of the O'Reilly's parking lot.
yeah, it's been really nice. So we're back at BLM land with some very pretty mountains in the background. And yeah, I think we're gonna end it, and we will see you next week.
Bye.